My name's Josh Mack, and I seductively approve this message.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh hell, use your whole elbow. Sin Nation TV.
Oh yeah!
So, the last thing to talk about in the final section, the final section is really broken down into three parts. So this is like part one of the final section, and it's the percussion. So we start with cinematic drums.
You know what those drums sound like to me?
What?
The fucking beginning of the Wong Fei Hong theme.
Doom. Jogo ho hon ti.
Are you saying Cantonese? Please don't. Please don't flag us.
I don't know how to say that. I don't think the Cantonese care. Now, the cinematic drums are awesome. Like, it's more of a feel, really, you know, how big they are. But they are kind of a little bit muffled because I don't know how they were recorded. It sounds like they were recorded in a cave. So there's so much reverb going on that I do add in double that with the BBC timpani.
You know those moments after each hit? It kind of has this, you know, droning, ringing out that really is reminiscent of like, you know, we see like those, a lot of modern movie trailers with that boom, boom, kind of Inception inspired. It's kind of got that element to it.
That's the other thing about this cinematic sounding things, where you also have to be very selective in how many layers you put, I feel. Because you really run into the danger of everything just getting lost in each other because of how large each individual thing sounds.
Well, because you've got, in this case, in terms of very large bassy drums, you've got drums bass 1, drums bass 2, drums 3, drums 4 timpani. So let's tell me about 3 and 4. What are
3 and 4 don't come until the next section.
Okay.
Yep. So let's just have a listen to timpani and drums 1 and 2, cinematic drums 1 and 2. So you've heard how they sound here. It's like gonna summon King Kong. Okay, now we go into section 2 where they ramp up. And you see, this is where I find that using percussions in an orchestral setting is very different from a band, right? Like, in orchestral percussions, the drums are tuned to notes. So you can use different combinations of them to create, if you listen to it, there's almost like a melody happening.
Yeah, I did notice that was a change where it kind of got a little bit less bassy and a little bit on the higher end, I guess you can call it.
Yeah, that's coming in from the timpanis and also some of the other, because in cinematic drums you have these low. Right, but
It doesn't have as much snap, but it's got a lot of rumble.
But it has.
Which that has a lot of snap, but not a lot of rumble,
And
so you combine
That
it.
really reminds me of Dark Knight and a lot of kind of action film.
I can definitely see the Dark Knight influence there.
It sounds like taiko drums. I don't know if it is or not. It might be. Moving on, or should I just play this first section?
Why don't you finish off the drums and then we can...
The drums are finished.
Are the drums finished? But there was snare down there, so...
Oh, did you?
Mate, snare and cymbals, mate!
What is the snare doing?
Don't even know what the snare's doing.
Oh wait, no, that's a timpani. Yeah. What's happening here? more of the King Kong shit.
Oh, your snare came in earlier.
Ah, what you meant is cinematic 3 and 4. So cinematic 3 and 4 are playing these. Are they?
Is that too high, bruv? Maybe they're very bassy.
Why can't I hear them?
Oh.
Ooh.
See, that to me is very kind of Summon King Kong, you know, tribal drums, very consistent rhythm.
Yep. And that is actually going over the low bass drums.
Because these are sort of medium register, where they've got a little bit of snap and a little bit of rumble, but neither, you know, not exactly either side.
So, I just play a little bit of this first section, so how that all comes together.
See, once you hear the whole thing again, that little snare, that trapdoor sound, really, it's very subtle, but it gives it enough of this vibe, like it helps build the tension, but you can totally hear the Dark Knight Zimmer-esque influence.
Now, if you recall in the earlier bit where we've got the cello, right? They're playing that. So that happens for one bar. And in the second bar, we start bringing in our horns, which haven't really had a chance to be featured yet. We're gonna have the tuba, the trumpets, the French horns, the bass trombone, and the tenor trombone.
It's a lot of trombone, brother.
So they're all playing the similar melody. Some of them are accenting different notes. And it sounds like this.
Is that seriously low, rumbly, like a giant's fart sound, the tuba?
It's the bass trombone.
What's the sound of the tuba? I'm curious, because I'm not so good with my horns.
Tuba.
Wow, okay, so it is still quite low end, but it's not as coarse and farty as the bass trombone.
The trombone really has that.
And it's cool as well, because especially something like the trombone, the mod wheel seems quite intuitive, because it's kind of like that motion of, you know, you push out that bit and you pull that bit back in.
It's not so much the push out, it's more like when you reach the apex of the blowing.
Well, the apex of the
that
blow.
It starts to like distort a bit. And your tenor trombone, like a very elegant fart.
It's a much smoother sound, yeah.
Yeah. French horns, always beautiful.
It's got that more hollow, echoey sound.
And your trumpets.
Kind of medieval, that one.
Yeah, but together they create this amazing. So your lower register horns are just holding down the roots. Boom. You know, like your bass trombone is just playing your root notes. then your higher ones play the melody. Oh, that's still bass trombone.
So do you use the mod wheel for all of the horn section?
No, I tend to use it only if I need to accentuate certain single note lines to create a little bit more of realism. If they're just holding down bass notes, I tend to just play them as is because they sound great on this. The horns are playing this melody that you hear over that kind of staccato rhythm that the strings are playing. So I'm just going to play the track from where the strings begin together with that electronica Little Wayne shit.
It's always so rewarding to hear every individual component, and then when they all come together and they're coming in at different points in time, you can't your ears kind of almost more tuned to listen out for them now.
So now we're reaching the real crescendo finale.
Orgasmo.
Yes, and basically everything that you've heard continues to go on, but one further step is the strings are gonna bring in stabs. I don't know if that's the right term. I call them stabs.
Sure.
Well, because they're just like
Stabs.
they're like stabbing the piano,
Stab the pianist.
right? And they sound like, who else is stabbing? Let's see. The bass stabs too.
Stabbing fool.
Let's get all the stabbing fools. So we've got cello, we've got basses, we've got violins 1, violas. Anybody else in on the stabbing? Okay, no.
Well, it's crazy because you talk about this stab. I thought they were going to stab quicker, but one of the ways you're choosing to do this build up is to have these slower stabs.
It's actually, it's a creative choice and also a technological limiting choice, because in GarageBand I do not have the ability to change the tempo mid-song.
Oh.
So I keep my stabs in time with the metronome basically.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do to even quicken up the urgency is in between those spaces I add more notes.
Mm.
So remember when we talked about that staccato thing?
Mm-hmm.
So the stabs, one of them adds onto that in a higher register. So let's hear the end of these stabs going into that.
Mm-hmm.
Are we all good?
Yes. So yeah, so you've now got this combination of still this sped out, very high tension, but it's actually made even more tense with these slower boom, 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 very strong, very harsh beats.
And those are lined up together with your drums, your percussion, boom, boom. So in the final section, the final section, where we have your, what do you call that, like the staccato thing? So you've got your stabs. Something like that. And then you've got staccato. Yep. Now your drums are joining in the party where they play. Is it this one? No, it's 3 and 4. So I'm going to leave drums 1, 2, 3, 4 and the timpani on. Feel that rumble in your cojones.
In my cojones. Yeah, I feel rumble.
And the all-important ending, which, I don't know, we should probably give a name to this technique.
What technique? Oh, fucking the percussive shot where everything just releases.
I call it Pounce of the Tiger, right?
Pounce of the Tiger?
Yeah, get your cinematic drums pack out. You get like a tiger, yeah? You look at the keyboard, or you look direct down the camera, and you go...
Oh my god. This guy's too much.
Yeah, I always end with Pounce of the Tiger.
I don't know what, you know, is Pounce of the Tiger better with more aggression, or there was one where you stare straight in the camera, you raise your hands without even looking at the keyboard.
Oh, well, that was kind of cool too. You're like, my name's Josh Mack and I seductively approve this message.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, hell, use your whole elbow.
I like the elbow one, but, you know, but please treat your keyboard with care and respect. Unlike this guy.
But you know what? It's the strike velocity you had. You even got something like actual strike of...
Yeah, I know, it's extra percussion.
And this is something where Aaron over here really fought me on at the start. Because I said, you know what? I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna end this freaking song with a gong.
And I thought, you know, is that a bit much? It's a bit...
Let me find it. It's nowhere to be found. Oh.
Isolated, it's so... Bolting Kid! That's what I mean, I'm like, it's so cheeky on its own, and yes, we can say that. But I mean, like, you know, when he said it, I was like, nah, dude, it's gonna be too much.
Mate, you say it's chinky, right? But Led Zeppelin's had gongs. I'm pretty sure Pink Floyd used them. What's that? Rush has a gong.
But
Dream Theater's got a gong.
But you are Tyrese. It's kind of like, it's like when the Beatles did Sgt. Pepper's album, started getting Indian influences. You're like, wow, this is cool, man. They're really exploring something different. But then if, like, you know, fucking Raj goes and does an album like Sgt. Pepper's, you'd be like, well, of course he would.
But why I wanted the gong as well, you've got the cinematic Tiger Pounce, right? And that has a doom, and it's got a kind of like slow decay where it just goes like shh out. But the gong's got a really long attack and decay. You know, its attack isn't instant. You notice? From the time the mallet hits the gong, it takes a while to bloom, and then it shrinks back, and it's kind of a bit of a timing clash together with the cinematic drums, but together.
Well, it's nothing. The gong is not such a sharp attack.
Yeah, and it's got a longer decay too. But let's hear them together. Yeah, one more time. See
Take it back a little bit further so we can just hear some of that build up to
the gong's decay actually lasts way longer than the cinematic drums.
Mm-hmm. The gong kind of almost comes just after that last, percussive smash.
But honestly, without the gong, it just wouldn't have that extra level of grandiosity.
No, I think once I heard everything together, I did end up agreeing.
So look, this is the final bit of La Vita e Bella. The song is not finished. Where it goes from here is this is just the composing stage, right? I mean, I've done a little bit of mixing to it, but you always will, because the closer you can get it to the final thing, the easier it is for your producer or engineer to understand what you're trying to do, and then take it from this and turn it into something even more amazing. So from here, we will go to Jason with it. We've already spoken about it. We may or may not add some actual violins and horns over it to create even more realism. And there might be some minor changes in terms of the chord inversions. Because, like I said, I have no knowledge of classical music whatsoever. Our producer, Jason, is classically trained, and he will be able to, give me input on, look, don't play this inversion. That's what a guitarist would play. Here's what an orchestra would do to make it sound even bigger. So
it's good to get, like an expert's eye on it or expert's ear.
Let's just hear that last section in its entirety. Tiger Pounce.
Yeah, I think when everything comes together, all said and done, the gong is the final piece of that puzzle.
So there it was, the thing that started this series. This is not the end of the series. We are going to move on to other stuff.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
But this was basically the foundation and the big thing that we've been building up towards.
The nucleus.
We hope you enjoy it, but if you don't, frankly, sir, I don't give a damn.
Eat a bag of dicks.
If you'd love to support us, buy something.
Yeah, buy a
check
t-shirt.
out our music, or leave a like and subscribe. It's not that hard.
Can you pace it out a bit? I won't have enough time to flash t-shirt, music, fucking leave like it.
Check out the music. Buy a t-shirt.
Yeah,
like and subscribe.
Shoot us a message on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. Send us some anthrax in the mail. Why the fuck not? We appreciate all attention.
Yeah. So we'll see you on the next one. Be kind to one another.
Who the fuck says that?
Ellen.